Welcome to Tarot Time. And whether you're here live or watching this as a video, we welcome you, we love you, and we're going to do in the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to do some tarot work. So we're going to do some meditation work with the tarot, or I should say, just to pick a meditation card for us for the week. Do a spread for the week that's going to tap into things that may be going on in your life personally or in the great wide world around us. And I have angel cards and other divination decks to work with. So we're going to get started in just a minute or two. I always give the live people a moment to get their notifications. So how are we all doing? Did you miss me last week? We didn't do tarot time last week because I was in Oneonta doing a holistic fair there. And actually, it wasn't during tarot. I was doing readings at Oneonta rather than being here with you doing tarot time. It was at 2:00 on Sunday. No, 3. It was 2 Central. What am I saying? 3:00 local time on last Sunday that I did the heart brain coherence class at Oneonta. So anyway, that's why I wasn't here. So if you guys missed me, I mean, some of you guys that are part of our inner core group, Spirit Mind Family, missed it so much. You guys made me do a mini tarot time during our live hangout the other week. So anyhow, let me just say a few quick hellos and let's get going here. Hey, Earth Angel and Angela. Oh, Cranky Pants. Cool. I love that. The Who or Who the. Not the Who, it's not Pete Townsend, so don't get excited, everybody. It's Who the. And hi, Lisa and Yvonne and Colleen and Susan and Michelle and Lisa and MT and Laura and Carla and Jody and Brooke and Doreen of the Children's School of Yoga. Welcome. Thanks for being here, everybody. So as we're starting to gather and starting to come in, hey, Colleen, as we're starting to gather, tonight at 7, we do our mediumship, and happy Beltane, everybody. So, and happy May Day. So, so what was I going to say? So tonight at 7 Eastern time, we're going to do some mediumship contacts and readings. I do that every 6 weeks or so for the aligning with the Celtic Sabbath. So this is Beltane. So the next one will be our 3rd year anniversary of the Medium channel. Will be on June 21st. So exciting. And it is cloudy today. Imagine that. And in fact, if you guys have any old photos of the sun, please send them to me because I'm starting to forget what the sun looks like. What do they call this? A Greenland high or an Omega block with a Greenland high. Long and the short of it is that the Northeast is just stuck in clouds and chilly weather. It happens every spring here. It's normal. And especially when it was 90 degrees earlier in the month. But that's okay. Tomorrow is May. It's a new month. It's a new energy. And last night we did also a May forecast. Lots of stuff came up. This is going to be a very interesting month ahead. And yeah, well, I'll lead into tarot time by just talking, a skosh about the astrology, because tomorrow Pluto goes, retrograde again at 0 degrees Aquarius. And then on the 5th, there's a full moon, and the full moon is eclipsed by the Earth. So we have a full moon eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, which is Pluto's rulership. So 0, as I talk a lot about, when things hit 0 degree points in astrology, it's spirit before manifestation. And Pluto being in Aquarius, we're getting kind of like these intense downloads of spiritual energy. And then in June, Pluto's going to actually retrograde back into Capricorn. So it's going to go from the air sign into this, the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. So it's going to allow us to take a lot of new frequency, new energy, and start to apply it into our lives during this time where Pluto's going to be back into Capricorn, back into the earth. Capricorn's the mountain goat, the earth. So that's an interesting thing. So I don't Yeah, it's in June where it's actually gonna. I think it's the 12th. I don't know. It doesn't matter the date, but anyway, I think you guys get the gist of that all. So hi, Michael. Hi, MT, and people that are just coming on. And yes, let's see. Just basically a little bit of background. So we covered a lot of interesting points last night on the live stream for the May psychic forecast, which will be, the link to that will be in the pinned comments for you guys to maybe check that out after this or whenever. All right. So what else? So it is May. Tomorrow is May. Well, let's get into some tarot, I guess. I mean, it is tarot time, right? So we're supposed to do that. Somebody was talking about what puppies before. I just have to peek at your comments for a second. Me to the sun, yeah. I was thinking of this song by Elton John. And I was asking you guys, send me some photos of the sun because I'm starting to figure out what it looks like. Called Gray Seal from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And one of the lines is, on the big screen they showed us the sun. On the big screen they showed us the sun, never quite the same as the real one. I was like, yeah, what does the real sun look like anymore? Is it still yellow or did it change colors? All right. Anyway, apparently, this week it may still stay cloudy, but apparently by the coming weekend we're supposed to break out of this and to break into some nice spring weather again. Something to look forward to. So what I'm going to do is start out with a meditation card, and this will be very succinct and connected to the energies and frequencies of the week for us as a community, for you as an individual. And meditating with tarot cards is like a journey. It's like a shamanic journey in a sense, using tarot cards, at least the way that I do it. And the idea is, well, first I'll pick the card, then I'll explain the process. Let me just clear my mind a second. And that's interesting because I'm seeing, as I close my mind, I'm seeing suspension bridges. And I think one of the messages for us is maybe a lot of us are going to be bridges between two different people or ideologies or stuff like that, or bridging the the waters between the seen and the unseen world, maybe also. So I think a lot of us are tapping into higher either mediumship abilities or channeling abilities. I do feel like our guides are very strong right now, and those of you that are aware of your guides, you may be feeling them more, and those of you that are maybe starting to get messages from your spirit guides or your angels and your extraterrestrial guides. And oh my god, I just have to peek at your comments. I always miss your conversation. Wow. Okay. I'm just peeking. Oh, you got a big conversation about animals too going on here. All right. Okay. Anyhow, let me focus on what I need to focus. You guys enjoy your conversation. I'm going to focus on tarot cards. So clear my mind. This is the card, definitely. Wow, Wheel of Fortune. Very good. 33 on the chat. So 33 is a sacred master number. We have 33 vertebrae. Jesus is, with the number 33. Lots of 33 references. So, that'll change in a minute. We won't be 33 on the chat forever. But so the Wheel of Fortune is expansion and growth. And perhaps as you do your tarot meditation, you'll get insights into how you're to expand and grow during this time. This will be for this week, and as a meaning, the Wheel of Fortune, it can be karmic. The wheel's changing. It's Jupiterian energy, so Jupiter is very powerful now, and there's a reason for that. I forgot what it was. I think I talked about it last night, and it may come back to me. It's been a long week. This is my Saturday morning. This is my first day off in a good while. My day off is spent with you guys, of course. So to meditate with the cards, clear your mind, get really relaxed, get very present, open heart, and then in your mind, step into the card. Now, if you have your own tarot deck, you can use your cards. If not, this is the Morgan Greer deck, so you can um, just use my deck. Yeah, so that's why I'm holding it close. Autofocus is apparently working today, which is nice. I love when that happens. And it's like a doorway to a different world or a different dimension. So as you step in, you start to see not just the image on the card, but there's a whole panoramic view around you and different beings, different energies. First thing, as soon as you step in the card, just gauge what you feel. And I've told you guys this before, but of course, we have a lot of new people since I last said this. But often when I have a client that's looking to buy a new house, I'll give them this advice: is like, forget about what the house looks like, forget about the neighborhood, forget about the price, forget all this stuff. Clear your mind when you're about to walk in the house. Gauge what you're feeling. Step in the house and then gauge how you're feeling again. Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? Do you feel happy? Do you feel anxious? You know, and the way that we feel, especially if we can disengage the thinking mind for a moment and just be in our hearts, be in our intuition, the way that you feel is very strong intuitive information. You're sensing the energy. So if you step into that house and you feel a little bit uncomfortable or whatever, that's your higher self way of telling you that's not the right house for you. So same thing when you step into the car. What do you feel like what do you feel emotionally, energetically, vibrationally, even physically? And then go around and maybe you'll get messages. Maybe you'll see things or sense things, and those are messages for you. But a lot of this is going to be how you can grow. Either grow as a spiritually evolving soul or grow as a person. We're all growing as people also. I'm growing every day, and I'm 64. I think the day that we stop growing is the day, we may as well go under. So keep growing and evolving every day that you're here. That's what we're here for. And what messages do you get? You might meet spirit guides, you might meet angels, you might get insights, and then how you're growing. And then this could also be financial growth, work growth, personal growth, expansion, all that good stuff. So anyway, so that's a message in and of itself. So next I'm going to look into doing a 3-card spread, and I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what you're saying. I just wanted to flash this because this seems relevant. Oh, that is very cool. I knew the house I bought was mine before I bought it. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, that's a good point. So let me get back to that comment or this comment. No, this comment. You guys are commenting too fast for me. Good point, because my last car, Alma, I name my cars. Yes, I do. Alma the Ultima. So she's an Ultima, so I named her Alma. Alma means soul, I believe, in Italian. The Italian people can correct me if I'm wrong, but or Spanish. So I always name my cars, and I was looking for Subaru. I wanted to get, because I live in the mountains. Subarus are great in the snow. I sat in one Subaru. It was beautiful, but no. Then they say, well, how about this car? And there's an Ultima, and not what I was looking for. But as soon as I stepped in that car, it's like, this is my car. I knew it. I felt it. I've had it for about 4 years. It's treated me really, really well, I have to say. So trust those instincts. So anyways, let's go into our 3-card spread for the week. So I need to stop my mind for a second so I can tune in, because what is the saying around here? When you're thinking, you're not connecting, and when you're connecting, you're not thinking. So let me stop thinking so I can connect. As soon as I said that, I often when you guys may have your own identifiers when you start to connect with spirit, but with me, it's ringing in my left ear. It's the left ear when I first step into spirit that I get that. Then it becomes both ears. I feel like I'm connected now. 1, 2, number 3. Okay, I got this. And I have my fancy technological apparatus here for you. Okay, firstly, I haven't even started to dig into this, but as soon as I saw these cards, I was like, this is pretty heavy duty, intense, high energy that's coming in, that's happening already. So the cards here are the Tower card reversed, key 16 of the major arcana. Then we've got the Knight of Pentacles, Knight's move. And then we have the High Priestess, key 2 of the major arcana. Again, this is the Morgan Greer deck, and none of the nude cards come up, so I don't have to hide the naughty bits. YouTube would take the video down because of I don't know nudity if I didn't cover that. It's crazy, it's ridiculous, I know, but no naughty bits in these cards, so we're good. All right. So these are the cards that I pulled. So what I need to do is just kind of flip them around and just for me to vibe on this. So, we kind of come into the week with this Tower card reverse. Now, the energy of the Tower likes to bring the structures down in order to rebuild new structures in its place. Now, being reversed, it may kind of soften the energy a little bit, but it also gives me a little bit of a, I don't know, like I feel a little suppress at the heart as I look at this card. And I think one of the things that Spirit's saying is that you don't pay too much attention to the news this week. Well, don't pay attention any week, really, but apparently this week in particular, and I may have mentioned this last night in the May forecast. If I did, and it was an oversight on my part, but one of the things Spirit was showing me last week in one of my channelings, I do, my own private channeling too, I meditate, I light a candle. What do you have for me? And then I either do some light language or automatic writing or something. But they were saying is that there's a new, new form of subconscious programming or mass programming that's been unleashed in the social media, and whether that's a frequency or subliminal thing. I mean, they're using a lot of advanced technology. I mean, they've been using pretty advanced technology since the 70s to program people. Things that weren't available to the public for a good 20 or 30 years after that. Look at the Montauk Project, by the way. And that was even earlier. Who wrote? If any of you guys remember who wrote the Montauk Project books, and you want to share that on the chat, do that. That was happening in the 70s. And my son's mom, she's not on right now. My son's mom, Janice, was living in central Long Island. And she would tell me during that time when the Montauk projects were happening, that literally people would not go outside. And she felt, she felt like it was almost like the Stepford Wives in a way, that people just seemed very zombified or whatever. And they were doing like a lot of like this kind of, I don't know if they were using sonics or frequency or whatever, but a lot of experiments on subconscious programming that was going on, apparently. I'll say allegedly because, I don't know for sure. I wasn't there. And so, what they're saying is there's like a new kind of energy, some kind of new programming around social media. So the thing is, what we want to do is stay in our heart. We talk about this a lot around here. The heart is the portal of the soul or the higher self. Hearts are constructed in a certain way, vibrationally speaking, that they are immune to the subconscious program. Only our subconscious can be subconsciously programmed. The heart, it thinks also. The heart actually has brain cells and synapses similar to the brain, but the thinking is on an intuitive, higher frequency level, not on a thinking or rational level. Is that the right word? Intellectual level. So when we're in the heart, we can't be programmed. Hearts cannot be programmed. Hearts, when they become coherent, are feeling gratitude, appreciation, and love. So that's why we teach and we do heart-brain coherence around here, to cultivate the frequencies of the heart and bring it back into coherence. So when we're subject to a lot of programming, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety from the outside, it makes our hearts incoherent. When we're feeling fear, anger, frustration, guilt, shame, and all that stuff, it brings the heart out of coherence. And the heart and the brain are connected. When the heart's not incoherent, the brain is very vulnerable to suggestion, to subconscious programming, to negative programming. So what do? We practice heart-brain coherence and bring our hearts back into vibrational coherence. And because the heart and the brain are really two parts of the same whole, when the heart becomes coherent, the brain becomes coherent, and then we're more open to spirit, and we're more open to our power. So that's what the message I get from this. Now, this has a very strong government and financial feel. So there can be some changes because nights move and nights change in things like money markets, things like world currency, investments, maybe precious metals also. So I think the idea is to be aware of what news that comes out, maybe through the feds, maybe the prime rate going up or down. As I'm saying that, the word recession popped up in my mind. So we may really start to get that feel of really coming into that R word, basically. That's been long forecast even by me, and we may be in it already. I'm not an expert on the economy, by the way. This is just what I'm taking from the card. But the high priestess, on one hand, can represent illusions, delusions. What's the right word? I need water. Water activates my brain. The word came to me, deceptions. That's the word. But also, the high priestess is very powerful energy. It's divine feminine. It's intuition. It's the moon, and we're coming into a lunar eclipse. In the Pluto ruled Scorpio, and Pluto is stationed at 0 degrees. 0 is the void, spirit before manifestation. So there's a lot that's stirring deep within our souls, deep within the collective soul. Because Pluto is really like evolution. It's like that very primal instincts, and the powers that be, you want to call them the deep state or the elite or whatever word you want to go, those very few that control the great many, they know about astrology, they know about energy, they time their things accordingly. I'm also seeing a lot with the news with this, so a lot of stuff going on the news. But what may be happening with you guys more on an individual level, some of you may be moving. It is the beginning of the month, so people tend to move around the first. Changes of jobs, changes of money. I feel like for a lot of us, it's looking into some alternatives in terms of how to bring money in, thinking outside the proverbial box, because it's a new money, it's a new economy. Things that used to work don't work, but then new opportunities emerge out of that, and really understanding the trends of society, where we're going, what's going on, how people are awakening, the spiritual values are shifting, personal values are shifting. If you're able to tap into that and be able to offer something that taps into the future, that's going to start to bring more finance in, whatever that is. As I think it's Bob Proctor, or it might have been Michael Beckwith or Joe Dispenza, but one of the people in The Secret, would always say, or actually Tony Robbins says this, but within all of us, there's a multi-million-dollar idea that's just untapped. So the idea is to tap into that. And this is a money card. We got the Wheel of Fortune earlier. I think this week, with Mercury still in retrograde also, I think that this week it's really time to go within and really start to think outside the box. And it's like, it starts with what I love and what do people, come to me for advice. Where's my expertise? There's always clues, and then there's always a way. So it's probably more than one, but that's a Tony Robbins expression, that each and every one of us has a multi-million-dollar idea tucked in our brain somewhere, waiting to be tapped into, waiting to be accessed, and waiting to be acted on. So So this week, when Mercury's in retrograde, it's better to step back. It's better to do more contemplation and meditation than to really push forward. I don't think I listening to my own advice, because I've been pushing the last week or so. I mean, you see all, what I'm doing on YouTube, like YouTube shorts, 1 or 2 a day. Um, Lots of live streams, going onto for events. So I'm not necessarily listening to my own advice, but I do step back also. I do find that balance. But in any event, I'm gonna step back, because Michael Marr knows a lot about economic stuff. So pay attention to what he's doing. It says it's bit has to be inevitable. So I want to flash this, because we're talking about this. Recession has to be inevitable. Other nations are dropping the fiat dollar. Thank you, like a hot potato. The nations are doing that with and building up the. Yeah, you're bringing up an interesting point. We talk a lot about investing in gold and silver, but there's a flip side to that, because they're controlling those prices also. We have to be aware of that supplies of gold are being held back to raise the price of gold. At least I believe they are. I think that's kind of what Michael's saying in a way, and the recession's inevitable. And one of the things that I brought up in the May, yes, last night, I prepared it last week in the May psychic forecast, that I didn't know this stuff was what did I say? It was relevant to whatever Michael just said. Oh, oh yeah. The message was to watch that there's a big shifting in global currency value. So watch what happening with the dollar as well as the euro and other measures of currency. There's going to be probably some going up, some going down. A lot of this is orchestrated, and I think by they're saying by 2025 we'll know exactly what it is, but I think sooner. And they're trying to implement new systems, new strategies, new ways of controlling people and getting more money. I don't know if a lot of you are aware of this, and I'm not placing a judgment or value or an opinion on this. Just the fact that the richest people in the world became an average of 50% richer, during the pandemic time, and the pharmaceutical companies, the tech companies, all benefited from that. And then there was also wars. So the Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, all these corporations that are very tied into the deep state and to the world economy really benefited from human suffering, basically. So what else are you saying about the U.S. dollar here is being dumped as it's not backed by or even oil? Yeah, we're not on the petrodollar anymore, racing the gold back China. Yeah, I've heard things to that effect also. Yeah. Um, what were you saying? $7, freaking. I thought it was bad up here. It's gone up to about $5 for Amy's soup up here, and that's canned soup. We need to learn to make our own soup. I'm sorry, I'm bad that way. Also, I don't have a ton of time to cook myself. So, anyways, so look for the continuing to changing of dollars. I think a lot of us are changing our perspective. There may be some traveling. There's a lot of anxiety around. That's part of the programming. So I think for us this week individually, with the Mercury retrograde, it's very high-powered eclipse energy, and May Day with Pluto station, and Venus is going to change signs on the 7th, I think, going into Cancer, which is a good thing for Venus. I think it's time to strategize and time to contemplate, like, where do we want to be in the next year or two. But this high priestess energy is really interesting, because it gives us access to our higher selves, to our intuition, to our dreams. So I feel like they're saying a lot of us are tapping into higher intuition now. Pay attention, maybe write dreams down, that kind of a thing. Um, and everything. So I'm just, I'm kind of keeping an eye on yes. Going vegan, yes. If you go vegan, do your research. So you make sure you're it's nutritionally sound for you. But that said, that's an amazing way to eat, and it is helpful in a lot of ways because the meat and dairy industry is one of the biggest polluters on the planet, basically. So if we reduce, a lot of it's the trucking, the transportation, the plants themselves, burnt a lot of fossil fuels and emits a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere. So just the things to think about. Not everybody's bodies are well suited for vegan diets, but through meditation, through cultivation, we can change our bodies also. So anyway, not I mean I'm not vegan myself. I'm vegetarian. I was vegan for a lot of years, and my body wanted I can't eat poultry, so it wasn't that, but they wanted like fish and cheese, mostly goat cheese and stuff like that. Yeah. So I need to turn this around. I think the message, don't go into fear. You're going to be okay. And I think, again, I think one of the main messages is there's new levels of programming, new energies, new pressures, and we feel that. So the more we can be vibrationally in our heart, the more resistant we are to that. That's the bottom line. So do that work. I have probably a dozen different videos that talk about heart brain coherence here on the channel. Some are specifically about that. Some there's mentions of it. I'll probably get a heart brain coherence playlist together before too long, as well as other things. Um, but the high priestess is very much about our intuition and our higher selves, and it's blue also. We go from dark, kind of in the earth kind of energy. Um, it's interesting because the cards reverse, so the lightning's going down into the ground and into the earth, not in the sky. So the other side of that is I think that we're going to have a really powerful, maybe it's for 5/5 on the full moon, but a really powerful like light code or light portal activation here on the earth. So I think there's going to be a very strong solar storm. We had a good one last week. As far south as the 40th parallel, people were seeing the aurora borealis. Unfortunately, it was cloudy here because I'm at about 41 to 42 degrees north here, so I might have seen it. People in the Midwest were talking about it, so in any event, so this may pertain to another very strong solar storm, a coronal mass ejection, something like that. It's also bringing a lot of energy into the earth, so I think there's a really strong earth activation that's happening, and I think it's going to affect us. So it may affect your health, it may affect your moods, and I feel like keep an eye on Monday. Monday popped up in my mind. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the energy may be really wonky. So, when you go out into the world, I think people are going to be a little bit more crazy than usual, and you're probably shaking your head saying, "How much more crazy can they be?" But you may smile at somebody, you may feel like they want to bite your heads off, and I think there's going to be a lot of arguing in the news. Like I'm seeing like news people like yelling at each other, basically, and so I think that there's a lot of this anger and fear energy that they're really trying to invoke into the collective consciousness. Don't buy in. The more of us that stay in our joy, stay in our love, stay in our compassion and gratitude, the more positive effect that has on the collective. We're part of the collective is part of us. The collective influences us, but we can also influence the collective. So let's be influencers of the collective. I think another thing, with this combination, because Pentacles is Earth also, let's every day in this community, and I'll do the same every day, just spend a little time to just feel energy coming from the cosmos through you and channeling into the earth, or place your hands on the ground and send love into the earth and into the ground. And the more of us that do this, we are frequency generators. We're natural electrical wires, basically. And the more evolved we get, the more crystalline our our subcellular structure gets, the more frequency that we're able to channel through us. So each and every one of us is able to channel cosmic frequency through our body, through our auras, through our energy fields, and project that into the earth. So I think that that's another one of the messages here. And lots of meditation, lots of going within. And really, you'll be aware of people that are argumentative. Anytime you feel triggered, really just try to observe what you're feeling and your reactions rather than feeding into them. That's how you start to change your reactions. That's how you start to change your mind and start to change the results in your life. So, we can't really stop our emotions. They're very powerful. They're energy, emotion. But what we do with them is our choice. So, if I see something very distasteful or somebody pisses me off or whatever, instead of like feeling the anger and then just completely going to reactionary mode and then letting them have it, I have the option to step back and observe like my hormone raging, my adrenaline, cortisol raging, and I have the option to step back and watch that happening. And as one of my faves, Dr. Joe Dispenza, says, when you do that, then you step out of the program. You're no longer the program. You're just watching the program in action, because our reactions to the world are programmed into us from day one. We're being programmed. That's not a bad thing. That's how the mind works. But what we see, power of repetition. I react the way my father reacted to stress. Because why is that? Because the first 10, 12 years of my life, I was around my father a lot. And through the power of repetition, his emotional tendencies became my emotional tendencies. The same thing happened to you. Again, it's not a bad thing, but we had the freedom to be able to change that. And I think that's really the bottom line, is to learn how to change these subconscious reactions. And that happens by becoming the observer. Again, then you're observing the program, you start to become aware of it. Awareness is the first step of change. So let me move on. I have got my hands falling asleep holding this thing. I have a Native American card, so I'm going to pull one of these. You guys might notice I'm in my winter shirt. That's because it's like 40 degrees out here. Interesting. My cards are all like all Meshuggah here. All right. Let me bring these back into one. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to ask my native guides to pick the right Native American tarot to supplement the 3 cards that we already pulled. There we go. This is the card. And we got the Matriarch of Pipes. So that's the card that I pulled. Matriarch would be the Queen. Pipes would be Wands. This would be the equivalent of the Queen of Wands in the tarot. So Matriarch of Pipes. And I just need to look at the image a little bit. What I'm seeing is fixing things. It looks like the fence is down. It kind of blends with these cards. I'll kind of flash these all together for you. Maybe I need to move these back a little bit so you all can see them. So queens are water, and wands or rods are fire, pipes are fire, because we light the pipe. I mean, you could argue that into being earth also in the native tradition, because it's the tobacco ceremony. Yeah, so it's a lot of this is about peace, I want to say, and and I feel like she's just watching. I kind of get the feeling like she's watching and almost like planning things. So I think, again, step back, this week and observe things. So I think that's just part of that message. And let me see if I can glean anything else of that. Well, she's cooking, or there's a pot of water. Yeah, she's cooking something also. And so I think another part of this message, especially if you're creating something in your life, law of attraction work, whatever it is, the old expression, a watched pot never boils, really comes into mind with this. So, if we're looking to create something, more money, attract our soulmate, whatever it is, attract the right house. If we're constantly like, is this working? If we're constantly thinking about it, it's like watching that pot that never boils. That we have to just kind of let it do its thing. We have to step back and allow the energies to move. So if we think about things, we hold the energy, and it doesn't move through us and around us, and it makes it take a lot longer to manifest what we desire, or it cuts it off completely. So letting go has never been my strong suit. It's been part of my my spiritual challenge, is really being able to learn to just let it all go. I think a lot of us have that issue also. And that's what we need. We need to really do that. Mercury retrograde, a good time to do that. And again, when you start to learn to be the observer, that's part of it. So meditation, always important. Practicing presence, always important. And it's kind of like the pot's boiling, and then she's kind of looking ahead, like to what's next. So that's part of the spiritual warriorship also, that we're strategists. We assess the playing field. We don't complain, because that's victim mentality. So we don't complain. I mean, if we do, we get over it quickly anyways. I mean, I complain sometimes myself, but the idea, warriorship's about strategy. You assess the playing field, and you come up with strategies, and that you're open and aware, because everything's a movement, everything's a flow. Warriorship, it's battle sometimes also. It's the fight, and when you're in a fight, it's always changing. The movements are always changing, the positioning is always changing, and we have to be adaptable and to flow with the energy of our opponents in order to be able to overcome it. So it's not meeting force with force, it's learning how to dance with the enemy, so to speak, and then to find the weaknesses that way to be able to overcome. And honestly, with spiritual warriorship, the battle is more often than not our own egos, and we want to integrate our egos back into our spirit. So egos aren't a bad thing. We need an ego, in our physical lives, right, to deal with what's going on out there. There's a collective ego, there's a personal ego, and all this stuff. So the idea is we want to embrace our ego. That's how we overcome it. It's just that the ego is supposed to be the servant of the spirit to navigate our physical lives, but this servant believes it's the master. And that's the thing to look at with that. So I think that's the message from that. What next? I have my divine abundance card, since money and abundance seems to be part of this week. So again, not a bad thing to have some awareness or focus on money. Money is energy, money's empowerment, money's freedom. God, you guys I'm missing a lot of your comments. And Adam, if you could possibly, there's a question here, possibly share. I might have to do that more as a private chat, honestly, Colleen, unless it comes through now. By the way, you're reminding me to remind you guys that tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're doing mediumship contacts and readings here on the channel. So 7 p.m., say a little prayer to your loved ones, and they're able to get through all the traffic. I do this for about an hour, get as many contacts as I can and messages as I can. So that's happening at 7 tonight for Beltane, and the next one will be for Letha or the summer solstice. So that'll be around the 20th, 21st of the month. So this is the divine abundance card. So when it comes to us achieving abundance, I don't even want to say attracting abundance, because we are abundance. 15 trillion cells in our body is pretty darn abundant. Wow, and the card says divine abundance. It is the divine abundance card. So this might be, good energy for us. So I think it's kind of putting that stamp on what I was saying about really looking into how to create more abundance. I look at it as my responsibility. If I'm lacking in money, I'm lacking in freedom, and I'm lacking in the ability to really share spirit, with the world, basically. So I look at it that way as well. So the little message here says, you were born to align with love's will, follow the Tao, or the way, or the flow, and serve something beyond the ego. Learn to be abundance, not chase it. So what they're saying is own that you are abundance. Our hearts are abundant energetically. We are abundance. We live in an abundance universe. I don't think that I've heard this anywhere else. So this might be my own coined phrase, although I know somebody else is saying the same thing. But a few years ago, I coined this expression, the law of abundance, as sort of an add-on to the law of attraction that simply states that everything that exists in abundance. And if you look around you, you know that that's true. I mean, I'm looking at abundance of trees, and I'm breathing an abundance of air and drinking abundance of water. Money's also energy. Money's also frequency. So everything that exists in money. So we have to learn to get out of that scarcity mindset. It served people well in the Depression. It really did. It's not a negative thing, but we have to get out of that now. We live in an abundant universe. The only limitation are what's in our own mind, and our own minds are programmed by others that have lack mentality. And there's been famines that there's been real reasons why that's in the collective consciousness. So let's not make that a negative thing, but let's understand we can evolve past that now. As we grow spiritually, we can evolve past that collective and understand everything exists in abundance, and keep abundance in your heart, and you're going to attract the abundance that you deserve, basically. So I have animal totems, and then I have angel cards, and then we're going to call it a day. I just sort of, hey, from Germany, blindly fired. Hello, Brianna, welcome. Love the teaching of the Tao Te Ching. You're very good. So do I. And it's been probably 30 years since I read it, but I still love it. Okay. Let me clear my mind a second. Okay, that didn't take long. It's the card they want me to pull. Cardinals. What do they say about cardinals? So be open tonight at 7, mediumship on the Medium channel. Imagine that, and all free, of course, too. So the message here is, the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. So do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. So we're kind of talking about that. And according to Steve Farmer, that's his name, Stephen D. Farmer, that's what cardinal means. And also we know it's all birds are messengers from spirit, and cardinals have that symbolic reference to messages from the other side, and I've seen that in action. I've seen that. Also eagle. There's this the other week I was doing a mediumship reading, and the interesting stories. I did some video work in the woods around me, and I took some photos because the sun was setting. And then as I went back to the photos, one of them had a bright green glow in the ground. And I thought maybe that was a lens flare, but it just seemed like the color and the placement. I mean, the angle of the sun, it may have been, but it's still not a coincidence. But it's kind of this bright green orb that had almost like a tail in it. So anyway, flash forward, I'm doing a reading, their loved ones coming through, and this big eagle just flies over the tree line, huge bald eagle, and goes into the woods and lands, right where I was filming that day, right where that bright green orb was in the ground. And somehow that because eagles can also be, represent messages from spirit. Eagles in the native tradition are the illuminators of the path to spirit. Basically, they stand at the east of the medicine wheel, that place of the sunrise, or that place of spiritual illumination. So that's what we have, cardinals. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And last but not least, I have the angel therapy card today rather than messages from the angels. So I like to mix them up a little bit. I need to get a few new divination decks also. So anyhow, so right here, got it. And we got sacral chakras. That's our creativity, right? The sacral chakra. Um, it's interesting in the monthly forecast they're talking about working on the throat chakra, but maybe this week work on the sacral chakra too. Yeah, and that makes sense with the new programming, new levels of fear. We need to stay strong in our sacral. I've heard, well, the sacral is more aligned with our organs of elimination rather than the stomach. That's more connected to the solar plexus. But I've heard the stomach being referred to as the second brain. I mean, I think the heart's really, well, the heart and the brain are one, so the heart is the brain, and then the stomach also has that kind of energy. But anyways, the message here is you are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situation, and relationships. So again, step back, be in your heart. When you're in your heart, you are in the eye of the storm. All the energy can swirl around you. People could be like banging their heads with sticks right around you, but you're in that place of love, and it doesn't come in, it doesn't reach in. So that's the heart center, but the sacral and the heart are very connected also. So when so I think they're saying maybe to do some work in building the sacral, building the lower triangle. We're also talking a lot about the Earth Star chakra lately because Spirit has been telling me to talk about that. And that's the chakra below our feet in the earth. It's one of the five transpersonal chakras that adds on to the seven more personal chakras. And that's an amazing energy center to tie into. And I was meditating last night after all my work, and they illuminated my Earth Star chakra and my I think it's my Spirit Star chakra, the one right above my crown chakra. And they were kind of putting me in this bubble or this aura where the lower one and the upper one were illuminated. And basically they were saying what I was saying during the week is that you cultivate the Earth Star chakra because that's going to ground us into the crystalline or five-dimensional Earth grid, whereas our root chakra grounds us into the physical Earth. Both are important. We're physical beings, but we're well beyond being physical. We're actually we're spiritual beings really having a physical experience is what it boils down to. And I have a whole slew of information on the Earth Star chakra, on Spirit Mind Family. That's our inner core community. For those that don't know, our Patreon group, and I'll share the links to get more information. But we do extra channeling with the master teachers for those that really want to step it up on their spiritual path and path to ascension, and really connect more with the inner community. That's not to say that we don't have an inner community here. We do, and we do a lot of good stuff here also. But we want to take that next step and do the meditations and the channeling. So the master teacher did a very powerful channeling, two of them that's exclusively on Spirit Mind Family, one for the crystalline earth grid, and the second one for the Earth Star chakra. So those are, I'll leave information for that for you guys. Yes. And I'm totally missing your conversation. I'm really trying to blindly inspired, saying clear and clean daily. Definitely do that. I do that every day. Do cleansings and clearing and shielding every day. I'm out there in the public. Not everybody likes what I have to say. Those that are programmed by the society and the deep state do not like people like me that are genuine and sharing the information basically. So what I do, I'm aware of it. I'm not afraid of it. I know that nobody's more powerful than me because we all draw from the same source. We all draw from the same God. It's more how we're aligned with it. So basically maybe that's a message for all of us as well. So anyway, I think that's good. It's almost noon. So, I love you too. Thank you so much. So see you guys back here at 7 maybe, for those that want to. Oh, well, good. That's good to hear. And thank you, Michael, for that. And yeah, there's a lot of good comments here. All right, I love you. I'm gonna probably rest a lot of today, and then get ready to do some amazing contacts with the spirit world tonight with you guys. See you later. Oh, by the way, since I always forget and it popped into my mind, like the video. Let's see if we can get this out to more people. If you want to, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but if you like what we're doing here, if you can just give the video a thumbs up, it lets YouTube know that people are liking it, basically.